and a 50-cent grain of wheat light bulb, and you're making the best medicine, better medicine than you can buy. Cipro, C-I-P-R-O, is the broadest spectrum antibiotic known, or at least it was a couple of years ago. If you go to the drugstore, it's $3 a pill. You normally get about $100 worth if you're trying to cure something. You have liver, kidney infection. The silver colloid is 1/10 of a cent a gallon. A gallon will last you for a long, long time. You store that gallon in a California prune juice, dark brown bottle, cheapest thing you can buy. You get half a gallon of it for practically nothing. Pour the prune juice down the sink. Rinse the bottle. Put the colloid in the bottle. Do not refrigerate it, and you've got the best medicine known to science. And that's why we've devoted about half of our present paper on how many parts per million you get per degree Fahrenheit per ounce of water. All these things that some of you technocrats like I am want to know about colloid. We've had colloid from people who are charging hundreds of dollars a bottle, analyzed. And because he's been attacking me, I think I can mention him. Wayne water, Wayne Rowland, has no colloid in it at all. Zero. When I confronted him publicly, he said it has 0.046 parts per million. I said, Wayne, when I buy silver colloid, I want some silver in that bottle. I don't want homeopathic paychecks, a penny a month, or colloid that's 1,000x titration and there's not one single molecule of oh, he said, but I put the note B flat. I play it on an electric organ and I put that music into the water and it has marvelous heat. Forget it. Take the paper, go home and make your own stuff and it will work every time. That's why the FDA has come after me. They've come to my door with drawn guns at 3 o'clock in the morning, trying to intimidate me. Because I'm selling nothing. I've never taken a penny from the people who are building these things. I'm still here. I'm free to tell you about it. We have them a little bit baffled here. And I like it fine, thanks to Mark and others. Now, we'll do some more magic. We're going to have to close in on this and allow about 14-inch headroom on that coil. After you have taken the 3 weeks at about 2 hours a day, put the milliamperes into your flesh and the microamperes into your blood, you'll find that the AIDS, particularly, can hibernate for several years in the lymph tissue. In other words, you might be totally free on a PCR test, polymerase chain reaction. You know, Carrie Mullis won the Nobel Prize on discovering this test in 1993. You might reinfect yourself with many of these things that live, for example, multiple sclerosis, herpes. The boogers live in the nerve sheaths. The circulation can very seldom get to this. The circulation of the blood can't reach these, no matter how much antibiotic you take. Forget it. But how can you reach it? With electricity. Getting electricity into the blood is very simple, and I showed you how to do this an hour and a half ago. You put it on your wrists. We used to put it on the feet to keep the blood, the electricity out of the heart in case you have arrhythmia, tachycardia, you're wearing a heart pacer. Now, by using these 2 ulnar arteries, you have a closed loop up here where they join, back down through the hand and up here again. And if you're wearing a heart pacer, you cannot interrupt the demand rate, the normal function of that heart pacer. And this is totally safe. First, do no harm. I used myself as the guinea pig on this for a couple of years before I dared publish. I wanted to make sure there were no side effects, and there is none. How do you get the boogers out of the nerve sheaths, out of the lymph, when there are several hundred of these lymph nodes in your neck, in your groin, alongside your spine in the back? Your lymph nodes and we stole this from Gray's Anatomy, are fully delineated on page 8. This is from Gray's Anatomy, pages 624 to 633, and it shows most of the major lymph nodes in the body. How are you going to get the electricity in there? Are you going to stick needles in your skin? No. You're going to get infected. You'll need an IV nurse, intravenous nurse. You'll need antibiotics or colloids to sterilize, or chlorine, etc. By the way, there is no chlorine in Clorox or Purex. It only uses the name Clorox. If you'll read the label, it's sodium hypochlorite, CHLORITE. It's kind of a fraud, and they're giving this stuff to AIDS patients to clean their works, their needles, the intravenous drug users. Fine, that's their lifestyle. It isn't mine. But we have all of these hundreds of lymph nodes. How do you get to them? Any engineers in here know that if you have a time-varying magnetic field, HB vector, in Maxwell's equations, letter H, letter B, and this field varies in time, you cannot use a permanent magnet, put it on parts of your body, and expect to get any results. The only things moving past that magnetic field are the very slow circulation of the blood, which generates microvolts, which is not enough to do the blood cleaning, to get rid of all parasites, all bacteria, all germs, all viruses, all pathogens, all microbes, everything. And it definitely does. You take a coil. This coil for engineers is 2.5 millihenries. We bought it at a mail order house in Chicago, MCM. It cost about $10. It's used as a crossover network in the high quality audio. The high frequency hit the coil and they're absorbed and they don't go through, so they put this coil in series with the woofer, and the woofer doesn't have to work as hard. We buy a $22, this is a Vivitar brand strobe light, electronic flash. This is my great-great-great-great-great-grandson. I invented these things in 1945 to 1952, and I have the patents on them, and my boss made the money, I didn't. You disconnect one of the wires going to the flash tube. You put in a little lamp cord here, or hi-fi speaker wire, in series with the flash tube and the coil. That means that the capacitor in this unit will charge up. It takes about 10 seconds when the batteries are low. It takes about 3 seconds when the batteries are fresh. And every time you push this button, this test button, when the red light comes on, you have dumped about 17 watt seconds, joules, J-O-U-L-E-S, of current into this coil. You have generated a field of 19,000 Gauss. The formula for you engineers is 1/2 CV squared, where C is in microfarads and V is in kilovolts. And if you measure the capacitor in here, and the voltage, 133 volts, at about 200 and 300 mics, you'll find that you've got 17 joules going into that coil every time I push the button. That means that if you hold this coil, hey, dynamic mic. This is not acoustical. You're getting the magnetic flux, which happens to be 10 micro-millionths of a second. That's fun. Hope I don't blow the coil over. I made the first one of these in 1946 when I was playing with strobes. I'll tell you a secret because the statute of limitations has run out. I took one of these coils in a pocket-sized strobe. I'd put a penny in the parking meters in Los Angeles. Don't forget, World War II was still on. I'd get my 6 minutes or whatever you got for a penny then. I'd hold the coil against the parking meter